Isn't this piece just stunning? The colors are so vibrant.
It really is. It reminds me of something special I want to show you.
Can you pretend to be my date for one day? She blurted out, trembling, clutching her invitation like a lifeline. Her ex's wedding was hours away, and the last thing she wanted was to show up alone. But who, she asked? That man, tall, commanding, silent at the bar, was the last person she expected to say yes. Because he was Evan Hart, the reclusive CEO millionaire every headline whispered about. And when he looked at her with those storm-gray eyes and simply said, "Sure," her world shifted. Welcome to Hopeful Stories, where unexpected twists bloom into heartwarming journeys. If this story already has your heart racing, hit that like button and subscribe, because you won't want to miss what happens next. Now let's dive into this beautiful mess of love, healing, and the courage to ask a stranger for something crazy. Just once. Natalie Pierce hadn't planned to make a fool of herself in the middle of a hotel bar. But there she was, clutching the wedding invitation she swore she'd burn weeks ago, standing next to the most intimidating man in the room. The same man who had just ordered a bourbon neat, eyes like winter and posture carved from power. He hadn't looked at her, not really. But she'd seen him here before, always alone, always quiet. There was something almost tragic in his solitude, like he wasn't lonely but had forgotten how to be anything else. She didn't know his name. Not until her best friend gasped weeks ago, scrolling through Forbes and pointing to that exact same face. Evan Hart, the elusive CEO of Hart Tech Industries. Worth over $1 billion. No social media. No relationships. No nonsense. So why did she ask him? Because she was desperate. Natalie's ex-boyfriend Marcus was getting married. To the woman he'd cheated with. It wasn't just betrayal, it was humiliation. The invitations were pity-laced. "You're still invited," they'd said. As if they were doing her a favor. As if showing up alone wouldn't twist the knife deeper. She had almost stayed home. But then she saw Evan, sitting alone in the hotel bar where the wedding guests were mingling. And something in her snapped. "Can you pretend to be my date for one day?" she asked, breathless. "Just today. I know it's insane, but I can't walk into that wedding alone." Evan's eyes finally met hers, calm, measured. But behind that, something flickered. Maybe he saw the panic behind her smile. Maybe he knew what it was to feel out of place. He tilted his head slightly. "Why me?" she faltered. "Because everyone in that room knows me. And they'll believe you're with me if you're someone they'd never expect." He studied her. And then, to her shock, he nodded once. "All right, just like that." No hesitation. Natalie blinked. "Wait, really?" "Yes, but I'm not good at pretending." "Perfect," she whispered, heart pounding. "Because I'm tired of pretending too." They arrived at the wedding venue like a storm. Evan in a sleek black suit, clean-cut and sharp as ever. Natalie in a satin emerald gown, simple but stunning. She hadn't expected the warmth of his hand on the small of her back, or the way he leaned in to whisper, "Smile, you're winning." The heads turned. And oh, they stared. Marcus froze mid-conversation. His bride blinked in surprise. Natalie held her chin high and smiled, leaning into Evan like they'd shared 1,000 private jokes. "You're incredible at this," she whispered. "I wasn't lying," Evan murmured. "I don't pretend, I just show up." As the ceremony unfolded, Natalie found herself caught between pretending and something terrifyingly real. Evan wasn't like anyone she'd met. He didn't make small talk, but when he spoke, it mattered. He asked her what she loved to do, not where she worked. He noticed when her fingers trembled and distracted her with questions about books, favorite movies, childhood dreams. It wasn't just an act, and that scared her more than anything. When the reception kicked off, Evan stayed close. He didn't dance much, but when Marcus tried to pull her aside for a friendly catch-up, Evan was there instantly. "She's with me," he said coolly, hand slipping around her waist. Marcus backed off, fast. Natalie turned to him. "Thank you." He looked down at her, voice low. No one should have to face pain alone. That night, under the fairy lights strung across the courtyard, Natalie found herself laughing, genuinely laughing, for the first time in months. She didn't realize how starved she was for someone to see her without judgment, without pity. And Evan? He looked like a man remembering how to breathe. As they walked back to the hotel together, silence fell between them, gentle and comfortable. At the elevator, she finally asked, "Why did you really say yes?" He hesitated. "Because someone once left me standing alone. I know what it feels like to be the only one hurting in a room full of people celebrating. Natalie swallowed hard. Well, you made today easier. I won't forget that. As the elevator doors opened, she started to step in, but his hand caught hers. What if, Evan said, voice quiet, we didn't stop pretending just yet? Her heart thudded. And maybe, just maybe, this wasn't pretend anymore.
Stay tuned for Chapter 2. And if you're already hooked, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Hopeful Stories so we can keep bringing real emotions, real moments, and real hope into your life.
The next morning, Natalie expected the magic to be gone. The borrowed fantasy, the way Evan Hart had made her forget the ache inside her chest. Surely now he'd disappear into his world of polished boardrooms and tech empires. But he didn't. Instead, he texted her. Just 3 words, brunch, you in? She stared at her phone for 10 minutes before replying. Yes. And that's how their story, the real one, began. Brunch turned into long walks. Talks that peeled back every layer she'd hidden beneath years of heartbreak. Evan wasn't what she expected. Not just powerful or rich, but lonely in the quietest way. He told her about the night his mother died, the company he built to escape that grief, the boardroom wars that left him cold. Everyone sees my name, he once said, but no one ever sees me. And Natalie? She saw him. She saw the cracks. The softness beneath the steel. The way he carried the weight of a world he never asked for. But what surprised her more? He saw her too. Not just the woman scorned at a wedding, but the girl who used to write poetry. Who dreamed of opening a bookstore cafe. Who once loved fiercely and lost harder. They didn't talk about what they were. No labels, no rules. Just connection, comfort, spark, until the night Evan invited her to a gala. You sure I'll fit in? She joked, eyeing the designer gown he sent to her door. He stepped closer, voice low. You fit into my world better than I ever did. And that night, as flashbulbs popped and cameras captured her beside him, Natalie didn't feel like an imposter. She felt chosen. But the world wasn't quiet. The tabloids ran with the story. Mystery woman spotted with billionaire heart. Marcus even texted her.
So this is what you needed to get over me?
She didn't reply. She didn't need to. Because when Evan saw her anxiety building over the press, he didn't retreat. He held her hand and said, Let them talk. I only care about what's real. Weeks passed. Then months. Natalie found herself smiling for no reason. She opened her laptop and began writing again. Dreams stirred. Her bookstore cafe idea? Evan offered to invest. Not because he wanted to control it, but because he believed in her. You asked me to pretend for one day, he said one night, arms wrapped around her. But I've never felt more real than I have with you. Natalie smiled against his chest. I thought I was saving myself that day. He kissed her hair. Turns out we were saving each other. That moment, quiet and unglamorous, was more powerful than any wedding, any gala, any spotlight. Because sometimes the love that starts with a desperate question becomes the answer you never knew you needed, and sometimes pretending for just one day becomes forever. If this story moved your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us at Hopeful Stories for more emotional, beautiful, and powerful tales that remind you it's never too late to find real love, even in the most unexpected places.